Hello everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavours for the 31st of December, last day of the year. We've got a 15 seal set. As always, the timestamps for each section will be in the description if you want to fast track to a specific one. 15 enemies with weapon poisons, a Knight's Silence item, a Battleground match, 4 items steady skill, and 40 enemies with Scribed abilities. It's an okay set. Fortunately, the crafted item is really easy to make. It's two traits. They're really easy to get to. Basically, even if you haven't got any traits already, you can do this in a day still. So, what I would suggest is the Knight's Silence, the 4 items to any skill, and either the 40 enemies or the 15 enemies with weapon poisons. Battleground match, it's easier to do. You just join the queue, and no matter what happens when the battleground's completed, it's done. But I just find sometimes the queue for Battlegrounds can take some time, especially if you do the 8v8 standard, which, you know, considering that this is competitive, you'd think that this would be the place where sort of the people who know how to play Battlegrounds are, so I imagine some people don't want to do that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't done BGs in a very long time. But yeah, basically you just join queue. As soon as it pops, you get a match and you join it. Queues haven't been too bad these days, but still I think you can get everything here done before you even get a queue for this, so I just personally think it's not something you need to worry about. Now, one Knight's Silence item. This one you can find, there's 3 locations, so here in Stonefalls, just west of the Wayshrine. If you don't have any Wayshrines unlocked at all, I think this is the best option, because it's basically here, you just go through the starred plane, past a couple of shops and a few lava pits. It does take a little bit of time, but compared to the other 2, Oridon's one is behind Skywatch, and that's in the middle of Oridon. You might not have that unlocked. The quickest to get to, if you have all the Wayshrines, is definitely the one in Glenumbra, because it's just here, and the Wayshrine just here. But again, you might not have that Wayshrine unlocked if you haven't been to Glenumbra on any characters. So yeah, so either Glenumbra if you have everything, or here if you don't. Now, there is one more thing I suggest, and that is guild halls. So if you are in a guild that has access to guild halls, can be very valuable to use these sorts of things, because they have access to master crafting stations. So master crafting stations, when they're fully developed, which in most guild halls is going to be the case. Am I trying to craft something? What's going on here? Wow, interesting. So it has every single set in the game when it's fully done, and you want to go down to your alliance zones, and you want to find Knight's Silence right here. So this is how you get access to it. So you can use this to craft it. Now, I would suggest using Jury if you have Somerset, because you don't need a star material for this, you just need 2 pewter ounce. If you don't have access to that, my suggestion instead would just be to go to the blacksmithing station and craft an iron dagger, because all the iron dagger needs is 2 iron ingots and a star material. Star materials you can get from any crafting NPC in towns. God damn it, go away. I do like that house, but not right now. So, for example, in Vocal Guard, you've got the Clothier Drunlin, the Blacksmith Hunel, and then you've got the Carpenter Huranwen. They all sell star materials for 15 gold apiece in an infinite amount. So, as many as you need. You only need 1, so. Alright, so that's basically everything you need to know about that. And you'll also get 1 item with any skill already, so that's good. But I personally think you shouldn't worry about using equipment for any skill. I think Alchemy is better. Purely because with Alchemy you can make poisons. What's this one here? I'm fucking blind. So, with poisons, when you craft a poison, it crafts 4 at a time. So, go these 2 here. Dragon's one. These ones, so poison to alchemy reagents, put them together and it makes 4 items at a time. If you've maxed out Alchemy, it'll make 16 items at a time, but you don't need to max out Alchemy, you just be level 1 and it's fine. So yeah, the ingredients, if you don't know what works, there is an easy way to find out. So if I take these away, if I go Dragon Ream and Dragon's Blood, it'll say unknown. But if I go this, it says inert. So if it says inert, you don't want to do it. If it says unknown, you're good to go. Now, I don't want to use these because these are both super expensive ones. But things like Dragon's Vial, Dragonthorn and Blessed Thistle is probably one of the best. I also tend to use Blue Entoloma. I realized just recently that it's Entoloma, not Entoloma. And Whitecap. These 2 also work really well together and they're very cheap. Water Hyacinth as well, very cheap. and you can use it with Blue and Tollimer. You can use it with, I believe you can use it with Dragonthorn? Yep, so you can use it with Dragonthorn, and you can also use it with Lady Smock, which is super cheap as well. Don't use Columbine. Columbine is like 1,000 gold a piece, and that's ridiculous. Don't use stuff like that. Don't use Clam Gall, don't use Powdered Mother of Pearl, this one here, and everything else usually isn't too bad. I'll put in the description, I'll put in a list of like common resources that I like to use that are very cheap, that you can get your hands on fairly reliably from guild stores, but just anything that you can get that basically isn't like 1,000 gold on guild stores, this will be fun. Okay, so next up we've got Afflict enemies with weapon poisons, and I'll talk about enemies with Scribed abilities at the same time. So I just tested the skill magical explosion, so destructive explosion, the scribing skill, counts for using for applying poisons. So any of the skills that you get in these, for example, Sundering Smash is another example, you can use these to proc your poisons while you get your kills with Scribed abilities. So if you want to get both of these at the same time, this is a way to do it. So the 4 that would work, actually the 5 that would work. So hold on, let me go to scribing. So you've got 5. So you've got Elemental Explosion from the Destruction skill line, Smash from 2-handed, you've got Shield Throw from 1-handed shield, you've got Vault, and you've got Traveling Knife. Traveling Knife might be a bit harder to use because you'd have to just make sure you hit the right target, otherwise you'll just hit one and nothing else. Yeah, any of these except for Mender's Bond, because I don't think... yeah, right. I don't know if this can target you, maybe, but I just use Elemental Explosion or Shield Throw myself, or Smash. Smash would be good. So yeah, in this case, you could use Explosion, hit all these guys, and you'll apply your poison. Because the way poisons work is it's 20% chance on every single weapon, skill, light attack, or heavy attack. And because Elemental Explosion, this massive AoE, is technically considered a weapon skill, you can use a bunch of these to do it. Now the only thing is, there's a couple of really good scribing skills that I personally use to get these kills on this endeavor that wouldn't be good to use. Contingency and the Soul Magic one, I use this as my spammable, because the issue with this one and the issue with some of the other ones is they're channeled, and so when you're casting it, for example, when you're doing this long ass cast, you could get stunned and it will cancel it and you won't be able to cast it for a couple of seconds. Can be painful. So personally, what I would suggest is just do one of these two and then just do these two at the same time if you've got them. If not, yeah, just do something like that. So my preferred method for doing poisons is to just use a bunch of target skeletons in a guild hall or a house. I don't see many houses have this kind of setup going. I've seen a couple, but not many. So if you're on PCNA, you can just use mine. Just use the Go Home add-on. Put my name in, go account name here, and just put my account name there. It's just this one here, and you'll be able to use my house. Yeah, it's only on PCNA, sadly. Yeah, I don't have anything on PCEU, sadly. So let's go look for something to use. Now, Skyreach Catacombs, probably your best bet. This one here. But there's 100 places. Public dungeons. There's some group delves in Craglorn as well that you can use. I'll just try one of those. I haven't been to one of those in ages. Okay, so the process for this is as follows. Stack your bar full of scribing skills. Also maybe stack it with one weapon ability to proc poisons if you want to. It's up to you. And then just go fucking ham. So I use Magical Contingency, the Mage's Guild scribing ability, the Magical Burst ability that you get for completing the skill line for scribing. Oh, sorry, not complete the skill line, the quest line. The last one, the Wing of the Crow. And then Magical Explosion, which you get for getting halfway through the Destruction Staff skill line. These three here I think are really good. If you don't want to use this one, I'd suggest using something like the Dual Wield one for Dagger Throw. You could use the one-handed shield one. Is actually I quite like that one. The shield throw. It's basically if you fought the warrior in Hellra Citadel, it's basically the same thing he does. where he destroys the statues with his shield throw. Just go magical physical damage. These two will change the what it costs. So this will make it cost magicka, this will make it cost stamina if you run specific builds. You can use Wield Soul, but it's only one target. You want to be killing lots of people very quickly with this. So I'll probably screw this up, because this thing here, this explosion one, is just really hard to use because everything fucking interrupts you all the time. But we'll see how we go. Alright. So I'll just pull these two groups here. Vigor up, because these guys do a lot of damage. Go here. 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 And as you saw there, I procced a poison. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh yeah, so these taking aim guys, you want to interrupt them, otherwise they do a ton of damage. Yeah, this thing does a lot of damage when it hits, but it's very easy to interrupt. I might be dumb. It might actually be a good idea to have a single target one, just for when there's one target left, in that case. So, in that case, I do definitely suggest using the Magical Soul one. Just put that there. Put this one here. I like having Mage Light in the middle. It's just, I've been playing this game for years, and that's usually how I do it. Just have the buff skill in the middle. Okay, so how are we doing so far? Okay, so we're 10 out of 10, 5 out of 15. Pull this group. Surge, Vigor. Put stuff down. Yeah, it's definitely satisfying when it works. I'm gonna stop light attacking. Just keep in mind, light attacks do not count for this, so they will get in the way. I just couldn't see the rest. Okay, so it does work pretty well. Just takes some time. Is there more? It's just these two. Let's kill them with this. Oh, okay, so there's just more that spawn. Okay, it's those kind of enemies. Okay. So you can block cancel the channeled ones, which is kind of nice if you need to change something up. Also, proc sets, not a great idea with this, because proc sets might steal your kills. Oh yeah, I forgot to get rid of that. Sorry, from fucking the other day when I did the enchanting endeavor. Okay, here we go. Here's a good spot. Right, pull that group there. So all these little wisps, they're melee, so it's really easy to group them all up. Kill them quick. And we're done. Okay, that was she was a lot tankier than I thought. So if you're wondering where I am, this is Chisel Shriek Mine in Craglorn. So there's Craglorn has a lot of these like group dells, these dells with plus icons on them. There's normal dells, and then there's also group dells like this one here, Zalgaz's Den. I think Hircine's Haunt. There's one with a werewolf boss, and they're fucking brutal. Most of the other ones are usually pretty okay though. So yeah, you can use, public dungeons like Crow's Wood. You've got Forgotten Crypts, you've got Vile Manse in Reaper's March with tons of Imperial enemies, you've got Crimson Cove with the same thing basically. You've got all these things here, as I showed before. You've got Skyreach, you've got Dolmens you could do, where you just get XP for a character maybe, because it's double XP. You got lots of options, but I think finding areas with large groups of enemies that are at least somewhat weak is good. You could use dungeons too, you could use something like Where Rest was one, but you just want to do that maybe twice. Kill all the skeevers in the first room and then just leave and then come back in like 10 minutes when they all respawn. Could do something like that too. But yeah, the options are almost unlimited for you. Just depends on how quickly you want to do it and how exciting you want the combat to be. Okay, so if you're in the market for some poisons to do this one for, my suggestion is three things. Probably the most reliable is going to be the crown lethal poisons that you get. If you play this game for at least like a month or two, you will probably start getting this thing in abundance. They come from the daily rewards. So if you log in, like sometimes they're like the 10th day, sometimes they're in like one of the later days. But eventually you'll get some of these things, and usually I don't use these in combat. I just use these for the endeavors, and then you'll basically never run out of these. Yeah, just maybe have like a stack of 100 for the endeavors just in case. If not, you got some other options. In today's, because we made some poisons before, you could use the poisons that you made with this. If you're a max level alchemy crafter and you have the passive that increases the number of items you get per attempt, you can get 16, and that'll be enough to get you through this entire thing in one go. So, recycling stuff that you use for this could be helpful. Otherwise, just go up to any alchemist in the game. This one here in Vocal Guard. Start with this way, Shine, so it's easy to get to. There's everyone here, the alchemist. As you can see here, she's got some poisons that you can use. Now, just one thing to keep in mind is target skeletons are not affected by these two. So if you're going to use target skeletons, you want to use one of these ones. I've tested these quite a few times, and yeah, they haven't worked for me. If they work for you, let me know, but I've had issues with these not working. These ones are the ones you want to use. Now, as you can see by the TTC suggested, these sell on guild stores for about 5 to 10 gold each. So finding these on guild stores will be better, because it'll be way cheaper. But if you can't find any on guild stores, just, it'll be like half a thousand gold or so to buy 15 of these to use, so it's not too bad. So yeah, those are the options I would suggest. Anything else is kind of, putting a lot of more work in. You can kill enemies and get them from dead enemies, and they do drop in clumps. Like I think you get 20 at a time in some of them. So yeah, it can be really easy to get it that way. But you might have to run around, and it's unreliable. Sometimes you'll get them straight away, sometimes you won't. Okay, so now one last thing before I go. I'll just discuss some skills. If you're not going to do the Scribed route, you're just going to do the poison route. Some skills you can use for each weapon type that will help get a lot of poison procs really quickly. So two-handed, you just want to use Stampede and Carve. These are the only two things you really need. So you can start the fight with Stampede. That'll usually proc it immediately. And the ground dot as well will also proc it. And then if you just want to make it even more overkill, you just spam Carve as you're doing it. As you can see, it just applies it super quick. Right, dual wield. There's two things you want. You want Cloak and you want Whirlwind. Now, Whirlwind, it's probably better to use Steel Tornado because the AoE is bigger, so you hit more targets and have more chances to proc poisons. And Cloak, you probably want... It doesn't really matter which one you get because they're both super long. Quick Cloak will probably be better because you can just apply it every half a minute instead of every 20 seconds. But it really doesn't matter either way. So for this one, just put Cloak on and then you just go in and Whirlwind everything. And that'll usually get it done pretty quick. Okay, so bow. You want Endless Hail or Volley or whichever morph. Arrow Barrage has a bigger AoE, but Endless Hail lasts for longer, so just personal preference there. And then Acid Spray. So go Endless Hail, and then we'll go Acid Spray as well. Now, the damage of a time of Acid Spray, I tested this before. I didn't get this one to proc poisons, but Endless Hail and the AoE, the initial hit of the AoE of this works. So usually this one will just apply it straight away. Oh, I guess it did just then. Well, there goes that. I tested it a lot, but yeah, I must not have tested it enough. So yeah, usually this applies it. Just hitting a bunch of targets with Acid Spray. But if you want to make it better, you just use Endless Hail as you Acid Spray everything, and eventually you'll get it done with that. So staves, you've got 3 skills that technically work, but I only really think you need one, and that's Wall. So just depends. So Unstable Wall can be a spammable, and it's a big AoE spammable that you can hit a lot of targets with, but it just depends. So for example, you can use Blockade, and then you can use Impulse, morphed either one. They both have the same AoE size, it's just one can be casted from range, one is on you. So it just depends on what you want. So either of those is fine. And then if you've got a Lightning Staff, Destructive Touch might be good, because as you see from Destructive Clench, Shock Clench converts the area the attack into an area of effect explosion. So that can also be a spammable AoE skill that you can use. But if in doubt, just use volley. Oh, sorry, blockade, and then use impulse. So blockade and impulse over and over, and those two together will get it done pretty quick. The other two skill lines, I wouldn't suggest unless you've got shield through for the scribing skill line for this one, and in that case you just probably want to do scribing skills anyway. And then you've got no, I mean this one here, yeah, so the other two skill lines, I wouldn't suggest using them just because they don't have any AoE capabilities. This one hits all targets near the enemy, so you can use this one, but that's kind of it. That's the only one they've got. Like, this one doesn't hit multiple targets, this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. The only one that does is the shield throw scribing ability, right? So, same thing with Restoration Staff. This one, the only thing that does apply any damage whatsoever is the scribing skill, and again, do scribing abilities in that case. Alright, so that wraps up Endeavours for today and Endeavours for the year. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I do appreciate it, and it's still surreal to me that there's hundreds of people that support me nowadays and keep watching my stuff. So I do really appreciate that and still can't believe it. So there's definitely more to come next year. I got some more stuff on the way. I'm still doing the guide for early leveling, and I think I'll do a veteran Maelstrom Marina guide as well in the same style as Dreadcell. So some things to work on soon. So I hope you guys look forward to that. If not, let me know. Let me know if you've got any ideas as well. But for now, thanks for your support as always, and I'll see you next year.